right. Hello, everybody. Once again, Tony Alvarez from Keller Williams Hoover. And this week, once again, we are here with my good friend, Andy Gagliano from Gagliano Mortgage. How you doing, Andy?
Tony, I am well. How are you today?
Can't complain. I'm loving it. We have a great weather this weekend. It
Yeah,
wasn't hot and humid. It was hot, but good hot, I
that's
think,
right.
if that exists. I
It
still
was
prefer the cold, though.
it was very tolerable, considering what we had back in June. I mean,
Oh,
that was brutal. So,
yeah, it was crazy, but I don't want to keep my hopes up because we still have August and September, and
yes,
we
we
know
do.
how it goes.
Yes, yes, yes. And September is always a surprise. It can be very cool or not cool, but cooler than what we come out of, or it can be just as stifling hot and dry. So,
Ex- Exactly, and especially you can have one day that is super cold, and then the next day is hot,
yeah,
super hot, or you can have both the same day. So let's see what happened this year.
yeah,
Looking forward. I'm really looking forward. Not excited, but looking forward about that.
there you go.
Andy, couple questions. First responders,
Yeah.
loans and grants or any programs available on the mortgage industry for first responders. And to clarify what we know, what first responders typically include law enforcement, which is police officers, EMT personnel, which is the paramedics, or anybody who respond to an emergency or the first one to arrive to the scene of an emergency. Uh, do we have any type of programs for that? Do you guys have any type of programs for that and what they are?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Now, I will say that there are some grant programs that are available from different lenders across the country for first responders. The problem that we have with a lot of the grant programs is they are very much here today, gone tomorrow. And so it makes it difficult for buyers to, number one, get pre-approved, number two, find the house that they want to buy, get their offer accepted, and close on that offer or close on that contract while the money's available. And so what I typically tell our buyers who are working with us that are interested in any of the grant programs that are out there is, if you can do it, if you can get pre-approved, find your dream house, get the grant money and close on the transaction while the grant money is still available, then that's a bonus. But what really, as a buyer, you need to be more concerned with is finding the right house for you at this time. And so here's what I mean. These grant programs, typically they come out, well, first of all, they get a block of funds that are assigned to them. Most of the time, those funds are assigned on an annual basis. And when they're there, they're there. When they're gone, they're gone. And so we never really know exactly when those funds are going to come available. It is just a set amount of money. And when that money is used, when that money is gone, the program is done until the allotment comes out next calendar year. And
So, in
so,
other words, it's like they qualify for the loan. First of all, we're going to talk about it's a regular qualification. Is the regular step that is taken to qualify, or is something different steps that they need to follow to apply and being given that grant? And the second question is like that means that if I qualify today for a grant and start looking for the house, and then in 2 weeks I found the house, We make the offer get accepted, but then the next day that the offer got accepted, that money's gone. That's mean that I'm out of luck, correct?
Yes and no. So that's an interesting scenario you pose. So if that buyer's mortgage application's been submitted for underwriting and has gone through the grant program and has dollars set aside for it, for that property, that money's there. Okay,
Okay.
they're in. But if that buyer's file or application has not gone through underwriting with the lender, been submitted for the grant funds, and has not been approved, and the money goes away tomorrow, then they're out. And so, it can be a source of frustration, as you could probably see for some buyers. So those grants are there. They're a good opportunity when they are there. And what I generally tell our buyers is don't count on it. We have backup programs.
Okay.
So if and some of those backup programs are not as attractive as the grants. We had one. This is what makes it so difficult with down payment assistance and with grant programs is they're constantly changing. We had one, gosh, 2 months ago that would blow any grant program that was out there out of the water. It was better than the grant programs that were out there. But
Wow.
it's changed. In fact, it's gone. And I don't think there's any sign that it's ever coming back. So,
Now, let me ask you with that. Just hold that thought over there. So, if the grant money to be approved, you got to go underwriting and everything. That means that you have to be under contract on the house to get that grant approved, or you can get that grant approved and have that money waiting there until you find a house.
yes, you have to be under contract
Correct.
in order
Okay.
to have the grant approved. Yeah, because otherwise people would tie up those grants for an indefinite amount of time, up to 4 months or possibly 6 months if you're talking about new construction. And if that buyer never finds a property or the right property and gets it under contract, then what happens to those funds? Are they then reassigned to another buyer, or is that opportunity just lost for the year?
Now,
So,
those grants means that is just for the down payment or is for the whole entire loan?
yes, so the grant is a certain amount of money. So the grant program I'm speaking of that we don't have anymore, is they allotted $15,000 this year as a grant for first responders. That's anyone in the medical field, that's your law enforcement, firefighters. And so that $15,000 could be applied towards down payment and or closing costs.
Okay. So they need to qualify like a normal person, normal procedure, either
Correct.
conventional or FHA. Can we combine those grants with FHA?
Yes.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Now, let me ask you this. Uh, do they get better interest rates?
Under the grant program, no.
Okay,
It would be your standard rate that's available for anyone who's not getting the grant.
okay, so there is no favoritism or anything like that. But they can qualify for certain rebates or anything else on that, or can you combine grants and programs? So it has to be something just specific for that type of loan.
Yeah. So actually, the grant can be applied with a down payment assistance program that is actually a first and a second mortgage combination.
Okay.
So the buyer can get 100% financing, get grant money for their closing costs, and essentially get into the property with no money out of pocket.
Ah,
So yeah, the
that seems
grant money can be used or combined with other down payment assistance.
all right. Andy, second question. Alabama, I heard something about step up
Yeah.
loan program. What is that?
Yeah. So the Step Up program is a loan program that is funded and administered by the Alabama Housing Finance Authority. And that program is for first time home buyers. There are income limits on it. The income limits and and you know I hesitate to give numbers that I know are going to change because the income limits will change next year. But for 2024, the income limits are $159,200. And the Step Up program can be used for a conventional loan or for an FHA or VA loan. And the way this works is Step Up it's essentially down payment assistance.
Mm.
It is assistance in the amount of up to 4% of the sales price, and it's given in the form of a second mortgage. Now, the second mortgage has the same interest rate as the first mortgage, which, by the way, is typically a slightly below market interest rate. I mean, slightly below market interest rate. So, don't think, well, I'm going to get a 0.5% better rate. It might be an 8, it might be a 1/4% better interest rate.
Yeah,
But
meaning like, if the market rate, let's say, as an example, is 7.5, you might get it at 7.3.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So, not a huge interest rate savings there, but it is some of what of a savings. But what's attractive is that second mortgage being the same rate as the first mortgage because many of the down payment assistance programs that have a first and second mortgage combination, that second mortgage has, I would say, at least a 2% higher interest rate than the first mortgage does. So, you're not talking about a lot of money in most cases for that second mortgage, but still, having a second mortgage with an interest rate 2% higher than your first mortgage is not as attractive as having it as at the same rate as
No,
your first. So,
absolutely not. Now, this second mortgage needs to be paid on the step up program.
yeah. So the step up, I'm trying to get this straight in my mind because we have about 7 different down payment assistance and or grant programs at Gagliano Mortgage. So it's hard for me to remember all the minor details
Yes.
on all of these programs. So I'm going to say that there on the step up program, I am pretty sure that that program does have payments on the second mortgage. So we have to consider those payments in the debt to income ratio for the borrower.
All right.
Now,
That's
there are
that's
some down payment assistance programs out there that don't have a payment associated with a second mortgage, and that helps to qualify as well.
yeah, and especially now that the new rules, the new NAR rules are coming in effect next month of the 17th. So uh, down payment assistance might come handy in many cases now.
Very true. Yeah. And, this is an opportunity. If a seller's not going to pay your real estate agent's commission as a buyer, then you could use some of this down payment assistance to offset that cost so that you're not having to come out of pocket with that. But Tony, the Step Up program is a great program, and it's one of those where the funds don't run out. So that, like I said, we have backup programs. The Step Up program is one of our backup programs for any grant opportunities that we have that happen to go away. Usually they're gone mid-year, the grants
Yeah.
are. And so, you're talking about a 3 to 4 month window of opportunity to be able to take advantage of those grants as a buyer for the most
Now,
part.
some of those programs, like the Step Up program and everything, like you said, those actually not every mortgage company or every bank that offer a mortgage has the program. They need to be approved by Alabama Housing Authority, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So in your
Now,
case, Gagliano Mortgage, you guys are approved with Alabama Housing.
so technically we're not. Here's the thing.
Okay.
So it was, oh, I'm not going to remember the day, or date, so I'm not even going to try. It was sometime in 2023. The Alabama Housing Finance Authority came out and they said, "Hey, we feel like our program is underutilized. There are a lot of companies out there who are mortgage brokers who do a lot of business, who do a lot of mortgages for buyers, and we want to be able to open up our program for mortgage brokers to be able to offer it to their buyers." So, as a mortgage broker, if one of the wholesale lenders that you sell loans to is approved with the Alabama Housing Finance Authority to offer our program, then you as a mortgage broker can offer our program. And so we are able to offer the AHFA program, the Alabama Housing Finance Authority program, through one of our lenders. And
Okay.
so that's been a big help for us. And it's a great opportunity for more buyers to be served by this program.
And it's a great way to serve the consumer, to serve the buyers, because it's not like you apply to a one bank. We're not going to say
Right.
names because the banks only offer you their programs, what they have to their interest and their interest rates and their fees and everything. Mortgage brokers like yourself, you have options. And that's what is very important with the consumer, with the first time home buyers, have those options available and the best options for them.
That's correct. I couldn't have said it better myself, Tony. You're hired.
I'll take it. I'll take it anytime. And that's one of the things that I like, talking to you and everything. I have learned a lot about mortgages and how things are working on this end, especially. And not only that, also about, your experience and your knowledge. So you are one of the few that I know here in Alabama that got experience, knowledge. And not only that, they're very honest and they're looking for the best interest for our clients. And I really appreciate those things. And that's what I'm here every week with you, Andy. Really
Well,
appreciate that.
well, thank you, Tony. I appreciate the kind words. And, it's just treating people the way that you'd want to be treated if the shoes were on the other feet. So,
That is correct. This
yeah.
is the golden rule. So, Andy, if people want to know about these programs, if they want to see how much they qualify for, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so I can be reached at 205-979-4412 extension 1. And again, I'm happy to have a free consultation with anyone. And we can go through these programs, these down payment assistance programs. And generally, what I tell our buyers, just like what I tell our realtors that we work with, is you don't need to be an expert on all of these down payment assistance programs. I just told you I can't keep up with them. We have so many of them and they change. They change from time to time. And so it's very hard to keep up with them. But what we do and this is why having these conversations up front and early is important. We can look at your qualifications, pick one or maybe 5 of these down payment assistance programs that you qualify for, let you go out with Tony and shop for a house. When you find that right house, we'll go back in and we'll reevaluate these down payment assistance programs with you to make sure that we get you on the right one that's best for your financial goals. But the thing is, we've got to make sure that we've got options available for you in case one of them does change. We know what other options you can just plug right into and go. And so having these conversations early is crucial. And that's what we're here for, is to help out with that. So, please feel free to give me a call. I'll be glad to help out in any way that I can. And with that being said, Tony,
Well,
when I'm done with them, how can they get in touch with you?
I'll appreciate that. After you talk to Andy, see your options and everything, just give me a call at 205-370-3248. My name is Tony Alvarez with Keller Williams Hoover. And I promise you, when you call Andy, he's not going to let you down. He's going to be honest with you. He's going to give you all the options you have. And then you call me, and I guarantee you, I'll get you into a home. So thank you for being with us today again. And Andy, I'll see you next week.
Great. Thank you, Tony. Have a great
Thank
week.
you. Bye-bye.